Uh, in North City. Just check. Okay, how about now? Yeah, there we go. Okay, I fixed it. Nope, it's fucked up again. I didn't do anything different. Well, you got louder. Oh, because it's him. All right. Did I break it? All right. All right. Everything's gonna be all right. Yep, looks like it. Looks like it. Why is fucking hell? It's always something, eh? All right. 1 o'clock. After the news, you wanna, or do you want to put it in to start? I reckon we do it before we talk about the games we play. I reckon that's a good place for the interviews. Yep. But we'll talk. We'll introduce the interview. Yep. Cool. Ooh. Ooh, am I? Yes. Now I am. Go. 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 Easy. We got our fucking game stonks. We're rich, bitch. Okay, gamers are rich now. Okay, I've had enough of this. We've been kicked around for too long, and now it's time for gamers to come to the fore. This GameStop shit is wild, hey? It's bananas. I mean, I do enjoy. I've got there's some real schadenfreude to watching all these hedge fund types lose their fucking minds about this stuff, because the entire pitch for so long has always been, oh, well, why don't you just do it? Why don't you just trade in stocks, right? Like, oh well, yeah, sure, I own 3 fucking Jaguars and a Porsche, and and I own 18 fucking buildings in Sydney somehow. But you could do it too if you simply play the stock market. Anyone can do it. It turns paupers into princes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like that movie, fucking Trading Places, right? There's Trading Places, right? Like, I guess that was the pitch of Trading Places. Although the end of Trading Places is pretty similar to what's happening with GameStop. So, if anything, they probably should have seen it coming, you would imagine. But anyway, yeah, it's just there's a great deal of Schadenfreude, that deep-seated feeling of contentment that you get when people have been smug and then hoisted upon their own petard. And that's what I'm getting out of this all this stuff. I wish we were recording from our brand new studio up in the high life, but well, it's annoying as fuck to trade on the US stock market from Australia. It can be done, and I do it a little bit, but it's painful and it takes forever, and there are tax implications that are also extremely annoying. Fortunately, I've never made enough for it to be a big problem because I'm shit. But yeah, it's difficult from over here, and I don't imagine that you were sitting with the morons on Wall Street bets, tracking GameStop share prices in time to get in at the ground floor and make out like a bandit. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It passed me by. Yeah. How many shares did you buy? 4,000? Yeah. I did see. I've seen a couple. It is pretty cold. I thought that was just because we made it to episode 550. 550. Ludicrous. It's a lot of episodes. A lot of nonsense. I'll tell you what's not nonsense, Luke. And, dear listener, I'll tell you what's not nonsense. This Loop Hero interview that we did. That's a segue. That's we used to be so good at segues. Nowadays we don't give a fuck about segues, but we used to be really good at them. And that is an example. That's like a early, that's 150, episode 150 type segue back when they were all important. Anyway, we talked to Finlal and Blinch, Alexander and Alexander from the team that have made and are making Loop Hero, which is a game we talked about last week. Is it an idle game, Luke? What do you think? Okay, and how did they answer though? I guess. No, they said the original plan was it was going to be like Progress Quest, which is the original idle game. So anyway, Finlal and Blinch from FourQuarters, four fucking fuck. What have I done? FourQuarter, yeah. And yeah, they like. It's a good interview. I think it's a great interview, especially by the end. We get into a bit of a flow, but they're a Polish studio, and there's definitely a language barrier that I think it takes a little while for us to get into a decent flow because of that. Unbelievably, like I can never get over how awesome it is that we get to speak to people from around the world about video games, and I'm spectacular, like unbelievably grateful that they put in the effort to talk to us in our language, because I know pierogi, I think that's Polish, and that's the end. What? They're a Russian. Well, fuck. Well, I know Das Vidania, and I know some language from Counter Strike that I'd rather not repeat. But yeah, yeah, it's amazing that they put in the effort to speak to us in English, and so I'm always more than happy to yeah, to do whatever I can to make that bridge a little bit better. And I think we do a good job of that. And by the end of the interview, yeah, it's got a good cadence to it, and yeah, it's got a good flow, and there's some excellent information in that. I mean, yeah, like the process behind how they got to where they were to make this game, and yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's rare. Yeah. Normally, if you see someone like that, it's more like Risk of Rain versus Risk of Rain 2, right? Where it's still very much the same philosophy at its core, but it's a wildly different game because of a change in perspective or something like that. Whereas this is like just a different game. It's like a completely different game all the way from the ground up, and that feels very old school to me because yeah, you used to see it a bit, but you don't see it all that much anymore. Um, Same diff. Same diff, mate. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Finlal and Blinch. There's two Alexanders and two Dimitris, is what they were saying. You have to be named Alexander or Dimitri to work there. But yeah. No, good interview, and we're going to jump into that right now. So, and we're back. Are we back, Luke? Was. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can't believe I got away with the cyberpunk thing. Anyway, video games. A bunch, yeah. Although some of them I've got less to say than others, than one specific one. Do it. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. The biomes aren't as distinctive. Right. Right. The Cyclops. Yeah. It was a mobile base. Yeah. Is there like an element, right? Like first of all, it's not Subnautica 2, right? It's a standalone expansion. Yeah. So I guess there's that element to take into account. But also, is there like an element of like was depth in Subnautica derived, or the depth that you're thinking of, was that derived from your lack of familiarity? And so, because you are far more familiar, does that sort of impact it? And is there really anything they could have done to get around that? Do you think? Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. If you hadn't played Subnautica, would you say play Subnautica Below Zero over the other one? Over Subnautica? Yeah. Mm. For me, it was that part just before you got the Cyclops, when you had to like hunt around for like one or two fucking fragments of a material so you could finally build whatever tiny thing you needed so that you could build this, so you could build this, so you could build this. And that was the problem that Subnautica had, in my opinion. Once I got into Subnautica, it was like a completely different game. So yeah, like it changed the whole thing. It was almost like Descent at that point for me, right? Like it very much reminded me of playing Descent back in my youth. Good lord, because if you ignore the fact that you're in water, it is Descent. It's a space game. You're just going through fucking caves with like fucking 6 degrees of freedom. Maybe not quite 6 degrees of freedom. The Cyclops was kind of stuck on the horizontal plane, but you could go up and down and stuff. And it just felt like you were saying, you're going through those caves and stuff like that, like those volcanic areas, and you'd have those fucking um, teleporting jellyfish cunts and all that kind of stuff. It just it took on a completely different form to me, and so I found the Cyclops changed like Subnautica in a really good way, and I was actually gonna fucking quit Subnautica. I was like, if this fucking Cyclops isn't fucking awesome, I'm gonna fucking quit this game. I actually did quit Subnautica after I got the Cyclops for a little bit because I fucking drove into the fucking deep dark depths, and then something got me, and I'm like, well, I can't do this anymore. My heart can't take it. I'm gonna die. But I did eventually go back, and yeah, it was yeah, phenomenal. So I'm very interested to see what they replace the Cyclops with, because I have been deliberately avoiding as much as possible uh, of Below Zero, so that I can go in pretty, I don't know, fresh. So yeah, I'm intrigued, but yeah, I really like. Yeah, it seems like a tough one, right? Like it's like you said, it's 1.5. I think if Subnautica 2 isn't Subnautica 2 player, they will have mightily fucked up. Yeah. Um, that should be their number one priority. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, right. Yeah. 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 Like it's just not a survival game until you get to that point where you realize that hell is other people. That point where you realize that the real threat to your survival is Luke drinking all your fucking drink right from out underneath you, or dumping a fucking half a human leg into the fucking boiling water that you just spent fucking 2 minutes dying of dehydration trying to fucking boil up so you could drink it, and then poisoning yourself because you got no fucking choice at that point. Or Gerald building 18 fucking water purifiers. Praetorian building 18 fucking water purifiers and drowning you inside of a base that was supposed to have oxygen, and you have absolutely no idea what's coming for you. There are situations where playing on your own in a survival game is fantastic. And I think it can work really well. And I think Subnautica 1 did a fantastic job of it. But yeah, that as long as it's done well, as long as it's not just, two you can fucking join or whatever. Like, I think the Nitrox mod did a good job with Subnautica in that, everyone shared research and all that kind of stuff. But they didn't share equipped gear and stuff. So it was, you had to build everything and stuff like that. I think that did a good job. I don't think it takes that much. Obviously, I'm not discounting the unbelievable amount of work required to implement networking into a game that doesn't have it built in. Not trying to discount that effort at all, but I'm just saying that it doesn't have to be that much more difficult than the base level of unbelievable difficulty that is coding networking into a game in the first place. But yeah, like fucking, I mean, even No Man's Sky, right? That game barely managed to hold my interest, but I still have a lot of fun when I'm farting about with other people in it. It's a classic. Games are better in co-op. Every game is better in co-op. And yeah, I would love to see Subnautica 2 players. Or, preferably 8 players, but yeah. Yeah, it's huge. We were playing the other day, yeah. I think it might be done. We were struggling to get games by the end of it. Like, just we weren't queuing in, but still having a lot of fun. Like, it was just timing out. I think there was a groundswell of entertainment for a while, and then it's just sort of bled out. I think it was always going to happen because there isn't anything keeping people coming back to Battlefront. And once you've seen all the maps and you keep playing, that one map you fucking hate, and it comes up again, you're like, I've got to do this fucking thing again. Or once you see through the fact that it's not terribly well balanced, there are a number of things in that game that if it had a more robust community when it was still being developed, I believe would have been altered. Like the Rocket Trooper, right? I think the Rocket Trooper is a fantastic example of how Battlefront 2 pivoted to what people were playing it for, right? Because people weren't playing Battlefront 2 for multiplayer, for supremacy or whatever. They were playing it for co-op. And I think rocket troopers are like balanced in co-op, right? Because they're a one-hit kill, but nothing's that difficult to fucking kill. So they're mostly a hero killer in co-op, or at least a hero damager, and that's what they're primarily used for. In multiplayer, in Supremacy, they are cheese shit. And depending on which side you are, and like if you're first order as a rocket trooper, you're basically impossible to kill. You've got a fucking jetpack that you can like burst, like yeah, like but like you can fucking like control. You don't have to like jump. It doesn't like fling you. You like fucking float and shit. So you got that. So you got fucking oodles of fucking aerial maneuverability, and you've got a fucking one-hit kill weapon. Plus, you've got a really good fucking gun compared to the other side, where the fuck they call the I don't know, the Shitter Rebel Alliance. Like it's goofy how disparate those two elements are, or like I mean, even on other maps like the Death Trooper, one side has a Death Trooper who they have probably the best gun in the game, and the other side has to make do with fucking Ewok, and you're like, who made that? Like, how did they get there? How did they arrive at that conclusion? I would love to be in the meeting where they're like, well, you know, we're on the Death Star. Ewoks on the Death Star? Yeah, just fucking happen. Yeah. Yeah. They're a one-hit kill, but they take 3 seconds to charge up their shot, and they're useless. So yeah, I don't know. Think about that one. I don't know. That's my pitch, and they're like, do it. I can't even work out how Ewoks would be useful in co-op. I haven't worked that one out. But yeah, like it's one of those games where it's not balanced for the game mode that everyone wanted to play. It's balanced for co-op, which is the game that everyone did play back when they were working on it. And so I understand how it has arrived at the place that it's at. It's just it was pretty much inevitable that people were going to get wild about it for a short amount of time and then let it go and then burn out on it pretty quickly, because yeah, it's sort of constructed that way. I could probably, like, if we were still finding games quickly, I would probably keep playing it, to be honest, because I really enjoy it. It might be the best looking multiplayer game I have. It is fucking gorgeous, man. That game looks spectacular, and it runs at 200 fucking frames a second, which is idiotic. Like, it runs at 200 frames a second. I know this because I turn off fucking G-Sync sometimes to see if it's like if there's any chance that's gonna fucking fall. Because I'm just fucking marveling. I see the fucking numbers ticking over. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is it. This is what gets me hard, baby. This is why you get a fucking 3080, baby. But yeah, you turn G-Sync on. There's literally no chance it's going to dip below 144. Like, which is fantastic. It's amazing. And it looks as good as it does. And yeah, it works. It's fantastic, but it was never going to last for the general population. I think that's a bit of a shame, but at the same time, understandable. We had some fantastic games. I had a lot of fun, but I can understand why it's burned out. Yeah. And it must have been hard for you to, like, we were getting dumped on fucking SEA servers, I assume SEA servers. And like it was running like shit for a while there, eh? Like you just I think it's bad in a game where you pick your gun based on, like, if you look up in the top right corner and you don't get a ping. There's no ping. It's just a fucking bars like you're on a mobile phone or some shit, which is also dumb. I hate. But yeah, you look at it and you're like, oh, I've only got 3 bars. Well, I'm going to go this high rate of fire weapon as opposed to the weapon that I prefer because I can't trust that I'm going to fucking hit my shots. And when I do hit my shots, it's more likely that I'm going to get super bullets. And like super bullets overwhelm any, I don't think DICE, I'm 99.99% sure DICE didn't invent the concept, but DICE has done the heroic save elements in their games for quite some time now, where if you take like 101 damage, then you won't die. You'll be dropped to 1 health, but you won't be dead. And it'll be your, oh my god, I nearly died moment, right? Oh, that tank it shot at me and I fucking ducked and it just missed and I was on 1 health and I turned and shot it with the rocket and oh my god, it was a Battlefield moment. That sort of thing, right? I don't think that they invented it. I don't think that is core to the Battlefield moment concept, but I do know that they do it. And super bullets overwhelm that shit every single time because super bullets never do just over 100 damage. They always do way fucking more. So yeah, it's bad in a game if you look at the fucking ping bar and you're like, well, high rate of fire, so I can get those super bullets, and I don't have to worry about hitting my shots all that much. And let's go, and it works. If that is a valid strategy, something is going very wrong in my. Yeah. So yeah, if they make a fucking Battlefront 3, I'm fucking front and center, man. I will be there front and center. But I sincerely hope they're doing Battlefield 6 this year. I would love Battlefront 3. I would love it, but I want Battlefront 6. Sorry, Battlefield 6 so much more than fucking anything else. Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, you got me to get into it. I bailed pretty fucking early on it. I just never saw anything beyond the grind, to be honest. But it does, like, I can't even imagine what I would have needed for them to do to to get me into it. It just didn't catch me at all. Um, yeah, co-op genius. I talked about how I was excited for it to come to the Game Pass last week, and that's about it. That's the game. Cute little story. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's literally just the narrative. It's just for the narrative, right? Yeah, I think it's just a goof. Yes, perfect. It's shill o'clock, people. It's shill o'clock. Yeah, no, I played it too. I yeah, it's a fun little free game that yeah, you get through, and it's got a amusing, cute characters and simple puzzles, and that's about it. Yeah, 8. Yep. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Oh, I did. Sorry. Oh yeah, thank God. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. I don't like the trend. I don't like the trend of where they're going with this game. In that, yeah, like, well, I don't mind the first person stuff. I just don't like the idea of Resident Evil turning into a essentially a modern pixel hunt, because that's what it is. That's what this demo is anyway. It's a fucking pixel hunt where you gotta fucking Yeah, you like literally just got to fucking walk into shit until you see a prompt that allows you to fucking pick something up. And if you can't progress any further, then the trick is to go walk into everything again until you realize where that fucking prompt was. That's the fucking trick, and that's not good. I think it's a problem. Like, I don't have a problem. I think there is probably a decent argument. I think PT makes that argument that you can use the slow-paced, walking simulator in air quotes concept as a fantastic vessel for horror, but I do not think that you can use pixel hunt gameplay as your primary gameplay method, because if that is what happens, you ruin the pacing, right? It's a problem with pacing, and that's exactly what this demo has. Is that you wind up getting into the flow and walking around, but once the tension of I've come out into this this foyer area in this spooky mansion, right? It's like a fucking haunted house, right? If you're on a haunted house ride, right? The idea of a haunted house ride, and I guess on some levels that's what PT delivers on, is that idea of a haunted house ride, because it's essentially on rails. You have to do certain things. You have to go in certain directions, and you get hit by jump scares that have a internal logic to them. And obviously, the theming and atmosphere build tension to earn maybe not all the jump scares, but a lot of the jump scares, which makes them feel not like the problem that a lot of things have is that a jump scare doesn't feel earned, right? I don't have a problem with a jump scare in and of itself, but when it doesn't feel earned, I don't like it. It's just a cheesy way to fucking startle someone. Everyone gets startled by shit. That's not fear, right? But when it's earned, that's fear. That's the culmination. That's the capitalization on that foreboding, building sense of fear. So PT or a haunted house on rails, atmosphere, tension, jump scares, and this demo, right, would be like if you got 3/4 of the way through the fucking haunted house and then you're like, oh, I have missed something. Take the fucking cart back. Take the cart back a quarter of the way through this fucking house. I gotta fucking look again. Oh, okay. I didn't look in this cup enough to find this ring. And then you get the ring, and then you go back up the stairs, and then you open the door, and then you gotta go back downstairs. And you're like, okay. You get down the stairs, and that's when they actually hit you with the jump scares in this fucking demo. But because of the way they did it, because it's a pixel hunt where you literally have to fucking, like, there's no rhyme or reason to what you can inspect. Sorry, there's not always. And that's the real problem, right? There is a bit of rhyme and reason. You can always, for some reason, inspect the third drawer on the right of any cabinet. Not the other ones, always the third. You can open doors, like cupboard doors. Some cupboard doors, you can't close them for some reason, even though you can close other things. And then, but like that, the fact that there is consistency, the fact that you do see the prompt from further away for some things and closer for others, means that you are liable to fucking miss some stuff. And that's a huge problem, because I missed the fucking cup. And so when I went down, got the cup again, got the ring, took the thing out of the ring, which was an unnecessary step in my opinion, but whatever. Went back upstairs, slotted it into the door, got the key from that room. I don't think there was anything else either, right? It's a room that literally just holds one key, and then you go down the stairs and there's that vampire chick, and that's their scare. That's what they've been building to. But I went down the stairs. I'm like, yeah, cool. That's it. They never fucking did anything to like to really earn it, right? Like it was spooky. The tension was derived from the fact that I was playing a Resident Evil game and I knew that a scare had to come, not from any actual theming. Maybe, oh, there's some gross shit. Oh, there's maggots in a toilet or a body dropped from the roof or some shit. Certainly scary. I'm not trying to play it off like I'm fucking Captain Hardass who wouldn't be fucking spooked if I woke up in a dungeon and there were dead bodies everywhere. I would certainly be fucking freaked out. But there wasn't any actual scary shit. Like it was just sort of stuff happened. You were in a place. It was a spooky place. So yeah, I went downstairs and this vampire attacks, and I'm like, well, okay, cool, fair enough. I know what I need to do. I need to run to the kitchen because they're afraid of the windows being open or something. I'd read that, right? Which I thought was quite good. That was smart. I think I did the right thing, or she just wasn't destined to attack me again. And then you open the door and the giant lady comes out. That was pretty good. I like that. That one got me because like they'd actually done something. Like there should have been someone fucking chasing you the entire fucking time or something. They should have the prompts from fucking ages away. And yeah, it shouldn't be a fucking pixel hunt. Like I've just got so many problems with how they executed this demo. And yeah, 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 mm, yeah, I don't want to play that game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, we will. Um, yeah, store. Yeah, yep. The, the medium. Let's talk about the medium. It's another spooky game. Another spooky game that I fucking hate. Um, I did not like this game. Holy crap. First, like, I played it for about an hour and 15 minutes. Uh, but I had to play through the first 15 minutes twice because it didn't save. when I first played through it all. It didn't save, and I had to go do some stuff. And I actually don't understand why my Xbox didn't quick resume, because it should have. But yeah, I had to go do some stuff. When I came back, it fully reloaded the game, and so I had to start all over again. And the autosaves are few and far between, which is annoying. That's not why I didn't like the game. It certainly didn't get me on side. But I do not think this is a game for me at all. It's got fixed camera perspectives, and that sort of tank turning horse shit that you might remember from fucking Alone in the Dark or the old Resident Evil games, where you sort of very slowly like turn and walk everywhere. It's supposed to be cinematic, and I fucking loathe it. I do not find it engaging at all. The only game I can directly remember thinking that it added to the experience was Project Zero or Fatal Frame, because they did a lot of stuff for the ghosts would be coming out of the camera, which was spooky as shit. And of course, because you had a camera, you could alter your perspective and use that to work stuff out a bit better. Anyway, this doesn't do that. Yeah, it's also very rigid in how it has you do things. I couldn't just like when I had to play the first 15 minutes again, I had to go through and do all of things again. There's a bunch of stuff that you have to do throughout the fucking. You have to like process a photograph, feed a cat, look at some other photos, read a report, all this kind of shit. And I couldn't seem to just skip ahead to the one thing that I needed to do, which was to grab the fucking tie clip that I needed and then go downstairs. I had to do all that other stuff, and that annoys the fuck out of me, because it, like, well, at that point, like, just don't tell me that's my objective, right? Just tell me my objective is to feed the fucking cat, and I'll go and do that. Okay, just tell me what my fucking objectives are if you're going to tell me what my objectives are. Do not tell me it's one thing and then have me have to do another thing for it to unlock or whatever the fuck was going on there. It's very annoying. And then I didn't really like the voice acting, and yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, and it runs like garbage. It's 30 frames, but it's struggling. And this is on a Series X. I've seen reports that it's worse on console. On PC. It would be worse on my beast PC that at this point blitzes both my consoles. Yeah, it would be worse, and I think that's staggering. It shouldn't be like that. Apparently, it struggles to get. Yeah. 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 Off. Yeah. Hit 60. Yeah. And I just, yeah, anything. Oh, it's because they're rendering two entire games at once, right? That's what's happening. And yeah, they like you see other games that did it, like Titanfall or Dishonored. They did it for really short periods, like one level, or in Dishonored's case, like one. Basically, like it wasn't permanent, and it's clearly ultra taxing. And yeah, they've tried to make a game, like a full game, out of this one concept, but it just doesn't. Yeah, it's just you can't do that without it costing something. And I guess what it cost them was a stable fucking frame rate. and what it cost those other games was generally a lot of detail. They like you if you go back to those levels, the rest of the game is ultra detailed, and those levels are less detailed, but you don't notice because this gimmick mechanic, and you're like blown away by that shit. That's not the case in the medium. They're still going for that same level of detail, and as a result, yeah, it just runs like garbage, and it feels bad to play. I just don't understand why fixed camera angles. Like, there's nothing less cinematic to me than walking down a set of stairs and then the camera angle changing, my character walking into the wall for 3 seconds until I change, or like when I attempt to anticipate the change, it can't keep up with it, and like it's just, yeah, okay, well, finally I'm playing a video game that looks like a TV show where everyone is a bit slow. Like, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to continue to try to play it, but I don't think I will get too far. I'm just not having a good time. I've seen it's getting wildly mixed reviews. Some people are calling it the fucking game of the year, and other people are basically on the same page that I am. And so I'm very interested to see, yeah, where it lands. Right? Like, I like Tristan's reviews. Yeah, I've seen 6s, and yeah, I think it's hovering at around a 77 on OpenCritic at the moment, or it was last time I looked. So yeah, like, I'm gonna try, but I don't know that I'll get that much further into it. Yeah. Anyway, it's on Game Pass. Yep. Yeah, yeah. I suppose, yeah. Yeah, yeah. 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 Yep. Yep. Unrailed. This was, I think, it had like a free weekend. I've owned it for fucking ages, but yeah, it had a free weekend, so a bunch of us jumped in to play it. It was a lot of fun. I think Dr. E3 Money managed to rope everyone into to check it out. But yeah, we were just, I think it was me, Dr. E3, Praetorian, and the Grey Squirrel, all playing this game, and it's basically it's a train making game. You've got to make this railway for this train, and the trick is that the train is always fucking moving. Like, at the start of the level, you got 3 seconds, and then the train starts moving, and if it reaches the end of the fucking tracks, it's game over. And so you've got to make more tracks, and it gets fucking hairy pretty quickly. The way they make tracks is by chopping down wood and mining. We're calling it stone, but like it's got to be metal, right? I don't know how you turn fucking stone and wood into a. Oh, I know how to turn stone and wood into fucking drinks, baby. Anyway, that's a brand of beer, Luke. I'm sure you don't know. You've got fucking. What do you got over there? Fucking Sierra Nevada or some shit. Yeah, it's fair. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how you turn stone into a fucking train track, but it's got to be metal. So you get this. So you mine the metal, you chop down the wood, you put the wood and the metal into this rail constructor that is on your train. It's like this fucking this weird sort of circular logic that the train will always move forward, but it makes the tracks for himself, and it's just sort of it exists to make tracks, I guess. Anyway, and you take the tracks off the train, put them in the front, and that's it. And so it's got this like it reminds me a lot of Overcooked. It's got that Crossy Road aesthetic, but it plays more like Overcooked, where it starts out pretty calm and everything's going well, and then there's a hitch in the program and everything falls apart, and it devolves into fucking yelling. Well, I know Squirrel was there as well, so it was hard to determine who was the biggest liability, but yeah. No, Praetorian actually did some good work. My work here is done. No, we had it was just a lot of fun in that same way that Overcooked is a lot of fun, where like it comes right down to the wire, and like you're frantically doing whatever the fuck you can to keep things going, and then you get a little bit of breathing room again, and you can use that to try to set up some stuff. But depending on how close it came last time, you might be still attempting to recover from what you had to do to stay in the game last time. And it just winds up being this this frantic bunch of yelling and like terrified track building and Yeti killing and all this kind of stuff. I don't like. We made it up to this snow area before we stopped playing, and I think that was about where I didn't care to keep playing all that much, because it's got like I was laying tracks. I was on the track laying, and Dr. E3 and Praetorian were doing metal and wood, or maybe the reverse. Grey Squirrel was a liability, and like that was about the extent of how we were doing things. I grab the track, put it down. They try to stack wood and metal in a place where I could set it up into the builder and all that kind of stuff. But the problem was when it got snowy, it slowed you down, which I didn't have a problem with. I thought it was a clever mechanic. It slowed you down while you walked through the snow until it disappeared. But B, the indicator for where a rail was going to be built was white, and the snow was white. And so you wound up in this situation where you literally couldn't see where the fuck you were putting stuff. And it was just an artificial layer of difficulty that I didn't appreciate at all, because it felt like there were a number of times where I should have put a track down, but it decided I wasn't oriented in the correct direction, or I wasn't close enough to the right tile or something, and so I wouldn't put it down, and that put us in more peril than we should have been. And it was just it just felt like a bad element in the game that shouldn't have existed. Right? Like, there's no reason that it should have existed the way it did, but the game's been out for a while, and it seems like that's something that they want. Like, it's working as intended. Like, winter was added at the end of last year, and yeah, it's not like they've changed anything since. So yeah. Anyway, I like it, but yeah, I don't. I just think the snow areas were not executed well at all. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I never looked into it. Yeah. FIFA 21. FIFA 12. FIFA 21. Yeah. Uh, I remembered that I'd gotten into, I'm going to play FIFA. Now it's coming out on fucking next gen. I'm going to check it out. Anyway, so I downloaded it. And, man. I mean, first of all, it downloaded the PS4 version, and then to get the PS5 version to download, you have to upgrade the PS4 version, which basically involves downloading extra, like, 20 gig or some shit. But it's the most confusing way to go about this shit. It's not a different version. It's just the PS4 version, and then you go into the store, and then you upgrade the version, and you download a different thing, and it was unbelievably confusing. They could not have made it worse. Like, I can't imagine a worse way to implement that system. But like, if they were trying to really fuck it up, they did a spectacular job with this one. Better still, while I didn't realize this, I loaded into the PS4 version, and I was playing they let you play one game while the game's still downloading, and I'm playing, it's Paris Saint-Germain, Paris Saint-Germain. I don't know. Anyway, PSG versus Liverpool, and one of my players was invisible. I just straight up invisible, and so that increased the difficulty significantly. I could sub him off, but yeah, otherwise he was invisible, and it was very difficult to use him as a defender when he is invisible. And so that wasn't, blowing my mind or anything. I wasn't like, oh yeah, cool, this good first impression. And then it fully downloaded, and then I upgraded it. And the one thing that I really appreciate about having played the PS4 version for a little bit while I try to work out how the fuck to play the PlayStation 5 version, the one thing I really appreciate is you notice the fucking difference. Holy shit, the PS5 version looks so much better. Like, distractingly better. And everything seems to, like, it plays better. It plays better enough. Like, everything's more responsive, and like it seems like the AI is a bit better, and all this kind of stuff that has me like fucking sitting here, like wondering, thinking, like, is this some like, oh, it's the PS4, like they deliberately, oh, it's the PS4 version installed on the PS5, make it play like shit so that when they play the PS5 version, it plays like fucking amazing stuff, and they're blown away. It's that much better that I'm like down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole, an innocent conspiracy theory like Loch Ness, or is there deliberate downgrading on the PS4 version on PS5 of FIFA, not one of those terrible conspiracy theories that seem to be necessary if you want to get into politics. And it's like, I'm 90% convinced it's the truth. It just plays so much better on, like, the PS5 version is so much better than the PS4 version. It's, yeah, and like dumbing down the AI or some shit. I don't know, man. Because I was sitting there playing the PS4 version, being like, wow, this is some fucking dumb AI. And one of my players is invisible. And then I'm playing the fucking PS5 version, everything's fucking working. And it looks gorgeous. And yeah, it was just fucking slick, man. So yeah, I'm definitely going to play more of that. Because yeah, it seems fucking good. But if you have a PS5, so the three of you out there managed to secure one, yeah, it's an effort to download this shit. There's some work involved, but it's worth it. It appears to be worth it if you like FIFA games anyway. Yep. Well, it took like I'm on the Discord. I'm on the Discord for this game, and it was like 30 hours for it to pass Google's certification, which is like the longest it's ever been. So it should have been out, but it just took a bit of time to do it. Anyway, yeah. So this big new update. Are you still playing it after the update? We talked about this a bit. I am too. Although I'm fucking burning out, man. So the update introduced this thing called Ultra Ascension, and so you could Ultra Ascend, and you'd get a bunch of Ultra Slayer points, and you could put the these Ultra Slayer points, into the Stones of Time, and they would provide you with a bunch of different upgrades in a variety of ways. And I do not like this idea at all. I hate it. Because the problem with Idol Slayer is that, like, what makes Idol Slayer suck are the walls that you can't overcome with the tools provided to you. Like, it's insane to me that, like, the real problem with Idol Slayer isn't, oh yeah, well, I can't breach the duodecillion wall, which was true, but that was the last thing stopping me from buying the only thing left to buy, so I didn't have a big problem with it. It's that I had to, like, to get to that point, I had to kill 55,000 fucking bees at some point, and Ultra Ascension means I had to kill 55,000 fucking bees again, right? Like, why would you, like, it just feels like a fucking stalling tactic. It feels like they're just like, oh, yeah, yeah, well, do it all again, but you'll get there faster. I'm not quite back to where I was, but I'm close. The only reason I'm not back to where I was is because I got dicked about by some portals and didn't get into, like, you needed to kill fucking 1,500 trees to get like advanced quests, I think. And I couldn't get advanced quests until I could get to the fucking place where I could get trees. And it just didn't show up for ages, right? And so that was a hard fucking hard wall I couldn't overcome. Sorry, I'll be right back. I'm back. So wait. Sorry, we had a buzz. I'm waiting on some stuff. I'm waiting on my fucking liquid cooling for my CPU, and I bought a Galaxy S21. Well, they were supposed to ship yesterday, and it was free express shipping. So I figured today would be the day, but evidently not. Yeah, well, I'll let you know how it goes. Anyway, so I'll have to somehow transfer Idle Slayer to the new phone whenever it shows up. It's got cloud saving, right? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to find out, I guess. Yeah, I'll keep it around just for Idle Slayer. Anyway, yeah, the real problem is that I have to do all these quests again, and it drives me fucking bonkers. Because yeah, you're hard gated on quests, literally by the locations that you can go to. And I know that at some point you get the was it like 5 million fucking SP you can choose where your portal goes, but like that is fucking ages away. Like I'm nearly back to where I was, and I hadn't reached that one. Oh, really? Have you been to the hot desert? That place is pretty good for Slayer point gains. Yeah, it sounds like you might not have. Uh, yeah, I'm literally hunting for stuff that'll give me Slayer point bonuses and buying that specifically before I buy anything else. But yeah, Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep. Yeah. No. No, it's not nearly enough. Um, yeah. So yeah, just and like I said, it wouldn't be as big a problem except for the fact that you have to do these quests again. I wasn't sure, but I went and bought the bag. The items bag. Uh, well, I went and bought it. You don't worry about doing it. There's no need. Well, yeah, for the crafting, but I went and bought it um, to make sure because my in my head I'm like I'm gonna buy this thing, and if I have to fucking unlock all this shit again, I'm deleting the game. That was my bridge too far. If I had to go farm all those items again, I was done. But you did not need to. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've unlocked everything in its except well, I've got enough resources to craft everything. Just didn't have money to craft one of the things. Uh, yeah, if you haven't done it before, then you certainly should. Yeah, not nearly. Right. Yeah. Let me have a look. I got to be up there. 184. No. Yep. Yeah. 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 Yep. I doubt it. Based on yeah, having played it for 184 days, I doubt it. Mm. Yeah. I had the one where it would say it was retrying, and then it would let me play, and then but it would have this fucking text box over the fucking screen the entire time, so you can work out what the fuck was going on in it, which was fantastic. The only way to fix it was to Alt F4, and it would like because you also couldn't save anymore, and so you had to basically revert to your last save, and if that was a while ago, you were fucked pretty much, which was very aggravating. Um, yeah, like holy shit, man, so annoying. What's hilarious is that some people who pirated the game um, gleefully told me that they weren't having that issue. Uh, it's an anti-piracy measure that literally only punishes people who purchase the game. Real fucking smart. Real fucking smart is what that is to me. Yeah, because it's the worst. Like, it must be one of the worst implementations of like DRM I've seen in so fucking long. And I cannot understand why they would do it the way that they have. It just doesn't make any sense to me because it doesn't stop pirates, doesn't stop hackers who have hacked their way to the top of the leaderboards. It doesn't stop fucking anything. Like it it only stops legitimate players. Like holy fuck. What is the point then? Just eliminate, just remove it. Just fucking remove it. It does nothing for you and actively makes me not recommend. I have specifically told people to not buy the game until they've worked this shit out. Uh, and I stand firmly behind it. I loved Hitman 3. I had so much fucking fun with it. Uh, but there's no reason why they should be rewarded for this behavior. This is honestly one of the most anti-consumer fucking DRM efforts I've ever encountered in video games. It reminds me of like literally the first attempts at this always online bullshit, and it had these zero justification for it to exist the way it does. Yeah, 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 yeah. It also didn't transfer any of my Hitman 1 across for some reason. I couldn't work out. It only did my Hitman 2 stuff. It did wipe out my save game on a Hitman 3, which was fantastic. I was really appreciated that. And yeah, like it didn't even do half of what it was supposed to do. It was just real good. Fuck, man. Yeah. That stuff. But like that stuff aside, fuck, Hitman 3 is so much fun. They've really perfected the art. They've really perfected like the formula. They've nailed it. They've done such a good job. Yeah, it's a like I don't give a fuck about the overarching narrative. I find it actually I find the overarching narrative to be bad. It's so generic. I think because Hitman 3 is like the end of a trilogy, right? They're starting something new, right? Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it's multiple endings. Yeah. Yeah, but I do think that a new Hitman would be an interesting opportunity for them to do something really good with the narrative. Finally, yeah, and yeah, that's what I think they need to do. You got to be able to see the barcode, otherwise it's not Hitman. So yeah. Um, no, I'm thinking. Right, what's the core Hitman gameplay loop? Right, what's the part of the narrative that they always seem to ignore? That is the bulk of playing Hitman. That is the failures, the parts of Hitman where you fail to complete the objective as the silent assassin the way you're supposed to, right? What if they were like weave a story around that? What if they were to weave a story where that stuff was actually happening in a sense, and then tell their story around all of that stuff? I reckon that's where I think they need to go. Like have it like it's a fucking an AI that is simulating these like missions, and you've got your team suggesting ideas, and you use that as a way to do the story stuff. Him and Mr. just fucking walking out a fucking window onto a fucking plank and stuff. No, have your team suggesting the like they notice like the let's talk through Dubai from Hitman 3, right? And they notice there's the vulture, the assassin. They notice that guy, and they're like, oh well, you could disguise yourself as the vulture. He appears to have a meeting with one of your targets, and have you do that and have that play out incorrectly. But the entire time while you're doing that, you're learning more about the world, and then have that one perfect run, right? Like Racy was talking about how he's got a 30-second run on Dubai. I've got a 22-second run on Dubai, but it's not a perfect run. It's you can only get 4 stars with it because you can't. I haven't worked out a way. I think if I can get to I'm thinking about changing my button prompt away from G to use the elevator. It's an odd one, yeah. But I reckon that's costing me like a couple of seconds is the G. And I think if I can just get into the elevator quick enough, technically, one of the kills won't be noticed, and I should be able to get 5 stars. And if I can do that, There's literally no way you ever touch my fucking score until you replicate whatever the fuck it is I'm doing. Although, listeners, Luke already can't touch my score on Dubai. He just doesn't have it in him. He's not even close to my epic score. Yeah. How convenient. How convenient. You beat my first run. You beat my first run. And you're like, well, this is so easy. It was like my fourth or something. But I was fighting about. I was doing all kinds of goofs. I do my goof runs, right? They don't count. This is what I'm talking about. This is what Hitman's about to me. Is these goof runs, right? And they should weave that into the story. Just like have some way, have a narrative element, right? To talk through why that won't work, right? And it can be based off the star thing, and then have them be like, I'm sorry, 47, but I think you should try it again. And then you can weave that into a better overarching story where you investigate what it is that is controlling this AI and then go from there. I've actually well and truly rabbit holed on this. I went like fucking well deep on this. I have thought this extremely through. They will never, ever, ever let me make a Hitman TV series because of what I did to Hitman 3 Absolution. But if they were to, it would be the best video game TV series of all time. Easy. Because I've worked this shit out down to the fucking letter. Me and Nate got drunk on Monday and we worked this shit out. It would be fucking phenomenal. Anyway, I think they should go with that idea though. Go with the idea of playing into the failures because the failures is what makes Hitman fucking amazing, right? The failures is what makes Hitman so exciting. I just think it's such a. Have you finished it yet? Yeah, like that last level was fun, but like it's probably the closest they come to actually playing into the idea though, right? Like playing into the idea of the goof, right? It's not long enough to really count as a full level, which makes me question the value proposition of Hitman 3, right? It's really only 4.5 levels. But like it's probably the closest they come to the idea of like playing into the goof because you can just do whatever and it technically comes out okay, right? My idea would have you like narratively explore it significantly more, but yeah, like some of the other levels, yeah, dwarf it, make it look like shit. I had fun in it, but it just like you said, it wasn't Hitman. That level in China is I was floored by that level. It was fucking massive, epic. That was fantastic. I love that. I thought that. Yeah. Why is that? I thought that level was kind of right. Yeah. No, I found it and then I just poisoned the chick and walked away. Yeah. 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 Oh, 100%. It's by like, yeah, it's not even close to the complexity that I come to expect from the series. But yeah, it's I just found it to be probably the closest that the game came to actually leaning into the idea of 47 being technically unleashed and dealing with the consequences, which I don't think they do. Well, they haven't done all that much, and yeah, so I just liked it for that. I'm surprised. Yeah, 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 yeah. I reckon I don't. You know, I hate to say someone plays the game wrong, but I reckon you play Hitman wrong, eh? Honestly, I think like yeah, because I spent fucking 2 hours on my first attempt, like running through a fucking level, and then I don't move on to the next level until I have like fucking perfected it. And yeah, it's just yeah, you don't play it wrong, but it's just so intriguing to hear that you play it so differently to me because yeah, like just knocking it out. Like there's other stories, right? Like there's even better. Like there's ways to kill them that aren't in the stories and stuff like that. You know, like they're completely separate to the stories, or they use half of the story, and and that's like, and you need the other, like you need something else, or you need to have been like the golf ball kill in Dubai. You can kill one of them by getting them to hit an explosive golf ball. But to do it, you need to have mild spoilers for the first level, I suppose, in a game that I have been actively recommending people don't play. Mild spoilers. Anyway, you can get one of them to hit an explosive golf ball, but to find out that that is an option, otherwise, like, outside of looking through the challenges when you finish the level, you need to do the story mission that has you go to the server room. And while you are acquiring the key card that you need to do the server room thing, um, you overhear a conversation from someone else who will mention the explosive golf ball, and then you need to go track her until she finds the explosive golf ball, and then you get the or you once you unlock enough of Dubai, you can bring an explosive golf ball in with you. Anyway, and then you need to create a situation where the guy in question is so frustrated, which is something you also only overhear about in passing. When he gets too frustrated, he'll play some golf to calm his nerves. So you need to annoy the fuck out of this guy. You just got to keep like doing stuff that annoys him like turning on the radio while he's trying to write, or like dropping a chandelier while he's doing something else, or like, yeah, all these things until he gets so angry that he goes and plays golf, and then he'll hit the, yeah, provided you also set that up in the first place, but then he'll fucking explode, and that's how you get that one done. But that, like, to do all of that is like you wouldn't have noticed 99% of this stuff. Like if you're just doing the story or whatever, you never have heard any of this shit, right? There's another really good one as the vulture that you can set up, where he will walk outside and you can get him to slip on a banana peel and go over a fucking railing. And doing that one, I only worked that out because I went through the challenges. I never would have worked it out myself, because I did work out 90% of it or 95% of it, but I couldn't get the last bit. I couldn't work out how to get him to go through the fucking railing. Yeah, you can. But like, yeah, it's fucking ingenious the way that they fucking breadcrumb you to do this shit. It's just, yeah. You would never notice it if you played through a level once and then moved on, you know? Right. Yeah. Right. It's below zero. Yeah. 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 Graphics. Yeah. Yeah. It almost feels like World of Warcraft, right? Exactly. There was something. There was something Hitman was doing that I was like, "It's new." I can't remember what. Yeah. No. Sadly. Um. Anyway. Yeah. No. I totally agree. It feels like, yeah, an expansion at most. But it's, yeah. They're huge. One of them's fucking. One of them's easily the biggest that you've ever seen in a Hitman game, easily, and it's quite deep. Um, and yeah, the four good levels are real good. I would say among the best of the franchise. I still think maybe I like Miami more. Maybe. Uh, yeah. Not that I can play it. Yeah. Not that I can play it despite owning. Hmm. But yeah, I think I liked that one more. But uh, these ones are well and truly, I would say they fill the next 5 slots. Maybe I really like the Murder Mystery Mansion, but it feels like that's it for that level, right? Like there's not a lot else going on there. Maybe some upstairs, downstairs style. Uh, that one dude who's sleeping with the help. Maybe there's something in that, but I couldn't really find a thread to follow there. Right, right. Right. True. Sapienza in Hitman 1 is fucking phenomenal. Um, yeah, there's some really good levels in Hitman 1. Yeah, if you're on the but it's the DRM man that I can't get past, man. I can't get past how aggressively bad it is. How a game that was fucking cracked on day one is so much worse if you buy it legit. It's just crazy to me. Like you literally get an infinitely better experience if you pirate it. Not that we are condoning piracy. But yeah, it is fucking staggering to me. It is annoying as shit to me. Uh, and yeah, I just don't think that they should be rewarded for implementing this this system. It serves literally no purpose, and it's just insane to me. Yeah. Yep. No. No. Yep. So hmm. Yep. What? Surely not. It has to be. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Um, I think it's one of those things, right, where it winds up depending wholly on what they're doing with it. Now, what I've read is that they are actually making Diablo 2 remastered or remake, if you want to fucking call it, whichever it turns out to be. And I believe that this move is to justify having Blizzard release a Diablo 2 remake as opposed to anyone else, as opposed to avoid the awkward conversation when later on down the track, people are like, how come Blizzard didn't make, who's this Vicarious Visions? How come Blizzard didn't make this fucking Diablo 2 remake? On the other hand, based on what they've done with Crash and particularly Tony Hawk, I have absolute faith that they will be able to do, provided they're given the fucking leeway, do something really good with Diablo 2. I am happy that Vicarious Visions are working on a Diablo 2 remake. And so if the only thing that needs to happen to get this across the line is that they change their name to fucking Blizzard, I don't think that I don't think it's that big a deal, in my opinion. Like it's it, in the end, it's probably good based on whatever the fuck happened with the Warcraft 3 remake, right? They can't. Then it's not going to be worse than that. Knock on wood. Like so, yeah. If Blizzard has decided to get a team that is extremely good at remakes to work on the Diablo 2 remake, and the only way to sell it to the fucking dick knobs on the board or whatever is to have them be called Blizzard, then fucking do it to it. If it means we get a better version of Diablo 2 remake, I'm all in. Um, yeah. Why? What are you thinking? How are you feeling about it? Sure. Yeah. 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 That does have me somewhat worried uh, because yeah, I have a pretty strong attachment to Diablo 2. Stronger than I did to some of the other remakes they did. So I played that game for hundreds of hours. So yeah. Uh, yep. I sort of think, in my mind, I guess, Diablo uh, 2 will like almost get the Call of Duty Modern Warfare remastered um, like treatment where it comes out alongside it, uh, which I guess does sort of limit necessarily how good it can be, right? Because well, no, it doesn't, does it? Because like if it was a problem for it to be really good, um, I guess they wouldn't have done it with Modern Warfare, right? That was the deal with Advanced or Infinite Warfare, whichever one Modern Warfare Remastered came out with. People bought those games, or that game, whichever one it was, just for Modern Warfare, and they seemed happy with it, right? Um, so yeah, I don't know, man. I think it won't be too big a problem if that is how it plays out. Uh, and I hope it plays out that way. To be honest, because I'd prefer a great Diablo 2 over a good Diablo 4. Yeah, yes, we. Yeah, very true. Uh, alrighty. There's a lot to unpack there. Uh, yep, yep. Kevin Hart, serious. Yeah. I don't know what to do with this information because, first of all, is Borderlands going to be a serious movie? Because that seems like a gross misreading of the of the of the subject text. Uh, like, I understand if he's not to play the comic relief, and I'm sure he would jump at the opportunity and yeah, all of that. But if he's supposed to be the I don't know, the straight man anchor of this film, and everyone else is a fucking lunatic, including Kate Blanchett as Lilith. Like, I'm starting to worry about this fucking. Craig Mazin has a history in comedy, right? But it's not a good history, is it? Yeah, but he did like The Hangover Part 2 and The Hangover Part 3. Hey, don't fucking talk shit about Scary Movie 3 or 4. They're fantastic. Identity Thief wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen, but love it. Chernobyl was his coming out party. Yeah. Right? So if he's doing something called Cowboy Ninja Viking, I'm seeing. Anyway, yeah, it's like it's just odd to me, right? Like with the Chernobyl writer and Eli writing and Eli Roth, the Hostel guy directing, and Kate Blanchett starring, right? If you told me those three people were working together, would it be what would it be? Not a fucking comedy. Yeah. Like Kevin Hart is going to play a serious enough acting role that they specifically called out that he's playing a serious acting role. Like, I'm not saying Kate Blanchett doesn't have comedy chops, right? Because she's clearly capable of playing she's got comedic timing enough to play like the straight person role really well. Like she was in Ragnarok, right? And she was like, she wasn't funny, but she played off funny people. Like you need that person, and she played that role spectacularly because she's fucking a phenomenal actress, right? So I'm not saying she couldn't be in a fucking funny movie. I'm just saying if you were to tell me those three people were combining, would you think it was going to be a funny movie? No. What about if I told you Kevin Hart was playing a serious role? Maybe it's they're doing that as a gag. Maybe that's part of the joke. Maybe it's all like a big joke. I don't know. I'm not sure, honestly. Yeah, I've got no idea. I've got no idea how to take this shit. Like, I don't know who they're gonna announce next. Like, fucking, I don't know. It'll be something out of control. Like Pablo, what's his face? Who am I thinking of? It'll be like Mando as Mordecai or some shit, and then Pedro Pascal. Sorry, I'm racist. Yeah, and you'll be like, oh, okay, and then they'll be like, oh, and Anthony Hopkins as Claptrap, and you were like, I don't understand this film. Yeah, like if The Rock is Brick, all bets are off. There's no way this is like this will be. They're playing it like it's a serious film, and it is a goof the entire time. That will 100% be it. There's no way The Rock and Kevin Hart are in the same film and it's a serious film. I just cannot see it. I can't see it happening. I would watch it. I will watch it. I will watch the fuck out of that movie, but I just don't think. Yeah. 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 John Cena. That'd be good. That'd be fucking awesome. Yeah. Is he what? What were you going to say? What were you going to ask about John Cena? He'd probably be the best brick that they could get, I would say. He's probably the perfect brick. But if John Cena's in it, it's a comedy as well. There's no way it's a fucking. There's like, yeah. If John Cena's in it, there's no way it's a serious film. Although he has been in a serious film, that one where he's a sniper. Wasn't it? Yeah, sure. Good example. uh, anyway, yeah. I don't know how to do this. Very true. Very true. No. What are questions? We had a question come in just after we'd finished last week, so we definitely have questions. Frisco writes, "Dear the Gap, what is the best way to build a relationship? Regards, Frisco." Uh, Relationship is like a good burrito. First, you start off with a good tortilla, right? You lay it out flat, put down some rice, not too much rice, but just some nice rice. It's got to be well seasoned, salt and pepper. Then you add whatever meat it is you're going for. I prefer minced beef, but you can do whatever you want. You can let your dreams be dreams. A good one is in the air fryer. Just air fry some frozen fish. Chuck that in. Then you need your veggies, right? And you gotta be careful with the veggies portion. To think this one through, because you don't want it to be too much, right? So if you're doing like salad, lettuce, tomato, uh, onion, and keep it like that, right? Keep it pretty close to that, right? A good like tomato salsa, a pico de gallo, I think they call it. But if you're doing the fish one, yeah, pico de gallo. If you're doing a fish one, I recommend go for coleslaw instead. And you can't be like a fucking mayonnaise coleslaw. It's got to be a vinegary one because you need the acid, right? The tomato brings acid. You need that acid to balance out, to round out your well built relationship. And then you add your sauces, whatever sauces you like, something creamy, especially if you did use the right coleslaw. Guacamole is pretty creamy, and you can make it extra creamy by mixing with sour cream. Then some hot sauce. Got to have hot sauce, and you wrap it all together, and you bundle it all up, and you let it sit. You want to let it sit on top of the part where it wrapped, right? If it's hot, right, when you wrap it up, you got to let it sit on top of the closed part of the burrito for like 30 seconds, because that gives it a chance to bind with itself. Like the burrito will bind with itself so that it won't fall apart as easily. That's the trick. That's the real trick. It sort of steams its way closed. And there you have it. A perfect relationship. Good question, Chris. Great question. Uh, Me too. We're nearly at lunchtime. I might have a burrito. Nice Nico writes, "Dear The Gap, I'm a long time listener from the UK. I realize that I've been listening to The Gap talk about games for around 10 years, but I rarely ever get in contact with questions or just say thanks for all the content. So thanks for the content. On to the questions." Thanks, Nico. Um, you guys are unabashed Game Pass shills. That is true. Do you know when EA Play is coming to Game Pass for PC? I've read lots of conflicting information on this subject. Some sources have said it's already on there. Others say it's months away. What's the deal there? Also, can we have the return of Heath's race stories? No. I loved hearing about those immense races where he'd start in 12th place, and after hours of focus and battling, he finished in 12th place. Maybe he could type one out every so often and send them in. I, for one, would love to hear them. What do you think? Thanks again, Nick. Game Pass for PC. I actually asked about this the other day, and I got the response, not yet. It's coming. They were no more clear than that, which has me super fucking worried, if I'm being honest. They would not be more specific than it's not there yet. So it's definitely not yet on Game Pass for PC. Certainly not. It is on Game Pass for Xbox, but not yet on Game Pass for PC. And we have no idea when the fuck it's coming. When I first heard about it, I'd heard Q1 of this year, and even that has been washed out. So I honestly couldn't be more specific. Have you heard anything different, Luke? No. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. There is someone else. There is someone else I can ask, so I will ask them as well. But yeah. I was talking to Xbox, so they didn't have any info. I'll talk to EA and see what they've got. Good question. And can we have the return to Heath's race stories? Not only do I hate that you've asked this question, but I wish you hadn't asked this question. It'll be a fucking text file. God damn, it'll be a .bat or some shit. Yeah. It'll look like every time he sends a new one, it looks more and more like it's going to be the virus that ends everything on my fucking computer. And I get like, it's such a risky click. And then I click it, and somehow it doesn't break everything. The only faith that I have that it wouldn't break everything is that I was there when Heath was taking info tech classes, and I'm pretty sure he can't code a virus that can take down my computer. That is not a challenge, Heath. Do not pick up the gauntlet. That said, I did enjoy his stories. Just out of it was surreal. I just could never understand. I couldn't believe they were happening. You know. But that is a deep cut. Thanks for listening. All this time, Nick. Thanks for joining us. Dr. E3 Money writes, how good is the hot desert? And in answer to your question on the previous podcast, yes, I'm still playing Idle Slayer. Idle Sailor. There's an idea for a game. Idle Slayer. That's crazy. Finally, it's fine. Finally, he's listening to the podcast as we do it instead of asking questions too late. I'm still playing Idle Slayer, and I had an Ascension CPS bonus of about 28 million. Fucking hell. When I did the new Ascend last week. So about the same as Luke. How many Ultra Slayer points did you guys get? I got 6. We answered this, Luke. Okay, we answered this, true. Pay attention. Pay more attention, mate. I got 5. Luke got 6. But you started like way after we did. I reckon he's probably at 100 days, not 140. He's hacking. He's hacking. I need tips, Drew. You gotta fucking give me tips. I'm evidently shit at this game because I played 4 more days and I was right on the cusp of the 6th point. There was no way to know how many fucking points before you fucking ultra ascended. So it felt like a bit of a fucking belt up. I could ultra ascend again, but I don't want to. I could ultra ascend again and get my 6th point, but yeah, it just doesn't seem fucking worth the effort. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. That would be the questions. Awesome. Comparing scores on Hitman. That's the juice. Uh, Zio came to the party with a pretty great score, but I took back my goddamn crown. Yeah, I had to. I had to do it. I had to do it to her. And Racy has been up in there. I think I don't know. Racy might be playing on Xbox or something. He's got a good Dartmoor, the Murder Mansion score, a real good one. I don't even know how the fuck he managed that. Um, uh, yeah, so that's a pretty big score. But at the same time, I'm all like, don't buy Hitman. So I don't know. It's hard one to work out where you should land. Anyway, yes, we are extremely grateful. Thank you. No, not this week. A bit of a short week. And as I said, I got fucking blotto on Monday. So yeah. No, nothing just yet. But I do have a couple of things coming next week, I believe. Stay tuned to Gamers for at least one of those. And what about you, Luke? I'm Joey Jojo as always. Yeah, five wonderful stuff. One of the best. What top 500 episodes of the Gap, I reckon. Bye. What's on her?